Hey guys, EDDBUD here. Today I took on a time trial of that half marathon distance. No pacers, just me on my lonesome. Here's how I got on. So didn't quite make it to that sub 1:30 party that I wanted to get to. Strava's got me down as 1 hour 30 minutes and 18 seconds, so I just missed it. But overall, gotta be honest, I'm really pleased with the consistency I showed today. I'm getting closer. I think on a flat course I probably could have done it, but overall there's lots and lots of positives to take away from this one, so let's get to it in the studio. So first thing to talk about really is the course. It certainly was far from flat. I think you can see there by the elevation gain. I really did opt for that loop though because it was going to be nice and isolated away from loads of people, and you know there's not that many people wandering about 7:30 on a Sunday morning really. Only the true enthusiasts. No passers-by, cars or anything like that to worry about, at least for the start of the time trial. That estate area is pretty relaxed at that time of day. Most of the businesses are closed right now, or at least they don't operate on a Sunday. That was quite good actually, because it meant I could go for the crown of the road, and it's pretty easy to see if there's stuff coming, so I could use the crown of the road most of the time, and then it was pavement on part of the loop. So I think to undertake some reasonable elevation gain there and still get within the ballpark, I'm pretty proud of that. About 609 feet in total, which is about 185 meters overall. So we're not talking Colorado mountain stuff, but Yeovil's a hilly place. Average heart rate was about 151 beats per minute, and they're certainly in my threshold zone there, towards the lower end of my threshold zone, so perhaps I could have pushed things a little bit harder, but I was quite keen to try and stick with that pace, keep things consistent. Looking at the distribution of heart rate there, I actually managed to hold that threshold zone for about 123 minutes of the 130, so really happy with that. Probably the first 7 was it just ramping up really. So average pace today was 6 minutes 54 seconds per mile, which is 4 minutes 17 per kilometre. So just a few seconds agonisingly off that sort of target I had. There's a couple of reasons for that though. Looking at the mile splits there, the main issue I had was not with my feet or legs, but actually with my hands. The gloves I chose to wear, or should I say the 2 pairs of gloves I chose to wear this morning in the frosty conditions, seemed to do very little for my hands at all. I would have been better just stuffing a pair of socks over both fists really. I think that would have worked out better. My hands were just frozen really by mile 2. I was really in quite a lot of discomfort at that time, and I was spending more time thinking about that than I was my running. Around about mile 5 and 6, I was just having a battle with them to try and make something work really, just to try and move the gloves over my fist really, just to try and keep my hands warm. I was really getting quite concerned about my hands actually, because I couldn't really feel one of them, which was, you know, that's going to put you off a little bit. So definitely in miles 5 and 6 you can see it cost me a bit of time there. About the amount of time actually that I was over. I think when your hands are cold there as well, it's even harder to try and mess with your gloves because you don't really have any control over them. It wasn't like I could stop some passerby as well and ask them to help me out, because you just can't do that right now. So I think that it probably cost me about 20 seconds, and that was what I needed at the end of the day. A really strong second half though to the half marathon today. Just that slight steady increase in heart rate, which you would expect really. That's kind of what happens with me really. Just a steady increase up towards the end as I was pushing things a little bit harder. I think that's going to happen to anybody. Someone did mention in the comments on Strava that I could have worked harder, you know, earlier on in the race, but that wouldn't have left me anywhere to go later. So half marathon's not like you can just go all out, is it? You've got to conserve the energy. It reminds me of playing X-Wing back in the days on the PC. It's all about resource management, the power, the shields. You know, you've only got so much energy. I did have a really good blast at the end there on the final mile, but just when I needed a bit of a break, the pavement was just completely full of people by that stage. They decided to pop out, and they hadn't heard that EDDBUD was trying to do a time trial at that time in the morning. At one point I had to dive onto the road actually to try and get past those people, and it did put me out of my stride a little bit. That section there was some road, like a grass verge, and then the pavement, and I had to sort of navigate across the grass, which isn't the easiest thing to do in the Adizero Adios Pro. I'm still super pleased about the pacing though. Almost spot on aside for a couple of those miles during the run today. and I managed to sustain close to that magic distance for almost the whole run. Many kind followers on Strava suggested that on a flat course, in race conditions with other people around, I would have had the extra impetus there to do it, and I think they're probably right. It really is tough trying to run a time trial like that, trying to get to a specific pace when there's just no one else around. I just have my music to keep me company for an hour and a half, and you know, if someone does a race further than that, I mean, hats off to you guys, because it is quite a lonely thing. Lots of doubts creep in. You know, you start thinking, I'm not going to do this, or I can do this. You know, you're constantly having this battle between yourself, like mentally. It was very odd. I guess though, really good to build up that mental toughness. LTJ Bookham and Dillinger, they really did the trick today. Just kept me rolling that nice consistent drum and bass pace. And on mile 13, the Prodigy, everybody in the place kicked in just at the right time. Looking at the grade adjusted pace on today's run, it's that magic number, 6 minutes 51 seconds per mile. It's really, really nice to see that. I was really pleased. I don't think I could take too many negatives from today. I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the challenge, and I know I can do it. A flat course today perhaps could have been a bit of a benefit, but it's a bit of a two-edged sword though, isn't it? If you've got a flat course, you can just go out a little bit too hard, and today all I had in my mind was keep to that pace, try and keep hitting that pace each time, every mile, every kilometre. And I've got to be honest, around here, very few areas offer the delicacy that is flat running. There's very little places around here that have got no elevation gain whatsoever. Cadence was 177 steps per minute average across the run, which is not bad for old giraffe legs here. Shoe-wise, the super slippers from the amazing Adidas were on point today. Not even for 1 second on the run did I think about my feet or the shoes. They just did a great job. They performed just as well as I thought they might. The upper works really well on this shoe. Supreme lockdown, loads of room in the toe box. They just appear to fit my running style really well. Present good propulsive qualities, but they're no slouch in the cushion department too. Quite forgiving, in fact. My legs feel really good actually. Even after the time trial today, that I'm still relatively mobile, which sadly does have its negatives. Essential house chores to be done. I don't want to let Mrs. EDDBUD down. She might get a little bit upset with me, and we don't want that. Perhaps I should have worn the Ultra Boost 21 or the Tailwind 79s. Then I certainly wouldn't be able to undertake a trip to the recycling centre. Grip was really great today with the Adizero Adios Pro, and I think the rigid nature of the shoe actually helped on some of those hills. The inclines were just a little bit easier to contend with today in this one. So a PR on the half distance, 20k, 10 miles, 15k. Happy with all of those. You've got to take those, haven't you? So definitely some signs of improvement there. I think in a race environment, I probably could have just about nabbed it. So onwards and, well, I wouldn't say upwards because that's just flying and that's not allowed. But certainly onwards, things are looking good. Things are improving. Top line speed's improving on the 5Ks, 10K, just getting that a little bit more sustainable, those higher paces, and we're almost there, just a fraction away in fact from getting a sub 1:30 half marathon. Just a quick message to say thank you for all your support over on Strava and on the channel too. I do appreciate it, guys. As you know, I'm just a guy that enjoys running and likes running shoes quite a bit, but yeah, today it was all about the running really. The shoe just did what it had to do. A quick musical interlude for you. You guys know I'm a big Neil Young fan, and there's quite a few tracks from his previous band, the Buffalo Springfield, that I really enjoy as well. But there's one in particular that you do need to go and check out if you've never heard the group before, and that's a track entitled Expecting to Fly. Now the reason I love this track so much is because there's nothing else that's really like it anywhere. It even changes time signature at certain parts in the song. There's all these little individual pieces that all fit together beautifully. These strange sound effects with some lovely harmonies too. It just presents this really ghostly sort of sound. And you get these beautiful little trills of the electric guitar with some vibrato on there. Lots of very subtle reverb here and there. Just such an atmospheric tune. Really is worth checking out. And with these spine-tingling strings at the end of the track as well that finish things off. A beautiful song. Go and check it out. The Buffalo Springfield, Expecting to Fly. Right, I'm going to rock and roll out of here and eat some pizza. Thanks for staying with me to the very end of the video, guys. I do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. It really helps the channel out too, to spread the word if you give this video a thumbs up like and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you.